I grew up in a small, working-class town, the kind where everyone knows your name and your business. My parents were blue-collar. Through and through, Dad was a mechanic. Mom worked shifts at a diner. We lived in a modest house with a leaky roof and a backyard that was more dirt than grass. Money was tight, but we got by. I went to public school, wore hand-me-downs, and learned early that if you wanted something, you worked for it. That was my world, and I was proud of it. It shaped me into someone who values hard work and standing on your own 2 feet. High school was where I started to dream bigger. I wanted a college degree, something my parents never had. Getting there wasn't easy. I worked 2 jobs waitressing after school and stocking shelves on weekends to save up. My proudest moment was buying my first car, a beat-up '98 Honda Civic. I saved for 2 years, counting every penny, and when I finally drove it home, I felt like I could do anything. That car was freedom, proof I could make things happen without anyone handing me a dime. It's a memory I hold close, especially now, when I'm navigating a world so far from my own. College was a grind, but I loved it. I studied business, juggled classes with late-night shifts, and graduated with a degree and a fierce sense of independence. I never felt less than anyone else, even if my clothes weren't designer or my vacations were just camping trips with friends. Wealth, to me, was a foreign concept, something you saw on TV. Not in real life. I didn't resent it, but I didn't get it either. Fancy houses, private schools, country clubs, that was another planet. And yet, somehow, I ended up in love with someone from that exact world. Looking back, I think my upbringing gave me a spine of steel. I learned to rely on myself, to take pride in what I earned. But it also made me wary of people who assume money defines you. When I started dating my boyfriend, I didn't think our different backgrounds would matter. I fell for his laugh, his kindness, the way he made me feel safe. But being around his family has shown me how wide that gap really is. Their world of vacation homes and catered dinners feels like a spotlight on everything I'm not. And it's made me question whether I can ever belong. That sense of not belonging I felt around wealth. It hit me hard when I started dating Tom. We met 2 years ago at a coffee shop where I was studying. He spilled his latte. I laughed. And somehow we ended up talking for hours. Tom was different kind, funny, with a smile that made my heart skip. I fell fast, and so did he. Within months, we were inseparable. And just over a year ago, we moved in together. Our apartment's small, but it's ours. I pay my half of the rent, cover my bills, and keep things fair. Love, for me, was never about money, and I thought Tom got that. Then I met his family, and everything shifted. Tom grew up in a world of wealth vacation homes in Aspen, a sprawling estate outside the city, private chefs for Sunday brunch. The first time I visited their estate, I was floored. Marble floors, chandeliers, a pool bigger than my childhood home. His parents were polite, all smiles and so nice to meet you, but I felt like an outsider. His mom, Diane, asked if I'd ever been to Europe, like it was a casual question. His dad talked about yacht trips I couldn't relate to. I smiled, nodded, but inside, I was shrinking. One dinner stands out. It was a family gathering, maybe 6 months ago, with Tom's parents, his 2 sisters, and an uncle who kept name-dropping politicians. I wore my best dress, practiced small talk in my head, tried to blend in, but the conversation turned to private schools Andover, Exeter, places I'd only read about. Tom's sister, Claire, asked where I went to high school, and when I said public school in my hometown, the table went quiet. Diane changed the subject, but the message was clear. I didn't fit. Later, Tom said they didn't mean anything by it, but I wasn't so sure. I kept going to these events, wanting to make it work for Tom. He's close to his family, but I noticed he's careful around them. He once let slip that his parents control his trust fund, and he's scared of rocking the boat. They're intense about loyalty, he said. I got it, but it stung. I'm not here to mooch. I've always paid my way. Still, I love Tom, and I thought I could handle his family's world. But those little moments, those subtle snubs, started piling up, and I began to wonder if I'd ever be more than the working-class girlfriend in their eyes. Those family dinners left me uneasy, but I kept showing up, hoping I'd win them over. Then, everything changed. A few weeks ago, I was at Tom's family's estate for a cousin's engagement party. I stepped away to the bathroom and overheard Diane, his mom, talking to his aunt in the next room. "She's not the kind of girl we pictured for Tom," Diane said. "She's from a different world. I'm worried she's after his money, pushing to settle down fast." My stomach dropped. I froze, gripping the sink, my face burning. A gold digger. I've never asked Tom for a cent. How dare they? I stood there, replaying every moment I'd spent with them. Diane's questions about my travels, her raised eyebrow when I said I'd never left the States, his aunt asking if their lifestyle overwhelmed me, like I was some small-town kid dazzled by their wealth. Those weren't just awkward moments. They were tests, little jabs to see if I'd slip up. All this time, they'd been watching me, assuming I was scheming. The hurt cut deep, but anger followed fast. I'd worked my whole life to stand on my own. To be judged like that, behind my back, was a betrayal. That night, I pulled Tom aside. My voice shook as I told him what I heard. "Your mom thinks I'm a gold digger, Tom," she said. "I'm not good enough for you." He went pale, rubbing his neck. "She's just protective," he said. "People have used me before. She doesn't trust anyone's intentions." Then he admitted something worse. His parents control his trust fund, and he's terrified of being cut off. "If I push back, they'll think I'm choosing you over them," he said. "My sisters would love that they'd use it to make me look bad." I stared at him, my heart sinking. He wasn't defending me. He was scared of his own family. I went to bed fuming, my thoughts racing. I'd always paid my way rent, groceries, even splitting date nights. I wasn't dropping hints about marriage or eyeing their bank accounts. Yet Diane had me pegged as some opportunist, and Tom wasn't standing up for me. The more I thought about it, the more those little slights. Diane's fake smiles, Claire's smirks felt like a pattern. They didn't see me as Tom's partner. They saw me as a problem, and I was done pretending I didn't notice. After hearing Diane's words, I couldn't unhear them. I wasn't just an outsider to Tom's family. I was a suspect. The idea of smiling through another event, knowing they thought I was chasing their money, made my skin crawl. I decided I was done. No more family dinners. No more pretending I belonged. I wasn't going to let them judge me when I'd done nothing wrong. It felt like a weight lifted, but it came with a cost, and I wasn't sure I was ready to pay it. A week later, Tom got an invite to his family's annual gala, a black tie affair at their estate. All glitz and champagne. He looked at me, hopeful, and said, "You'll come, right?" "It's a big deal." I took a deep breath and shook my head. "I can't." "Tom, not after what your mom said. I'm not going to sit there while they whisper about me." His face fell. He paced the apartment, voice tight. "If you skip this, Claire and Emily will twist it. They'll tell Mom and Dad you're pulling me away. It could mess things up for me, my trust fund. Everything. I got it. But it hurt. Why was his family's drama my problem? I wasn't the one calling me a gold digger. That night, I lay awake, torn. Part of me felt strong, proud for standing up for myself. I'd worked hard my whole life, paid my own way, built a life I was proud of. I didn't deserve their suspicion, and I wasn't going to beg for their approval. But another part of me worried. Tom and I were good together, great. Even, what if this drove a wedge between us? What if his sisters spun it like he said, and his parents cut him off? I hated that I was doubting myself. But love makes you question things. Still, I kept coming back to one truth. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. It was eating me up. The next morning, I told Tom I was sticking to my decision. "I love you," I said, "but I'm not going to your family's events. They think I'm something I'm not. And I won't play along?" He sighed, frustrated, and said I was making it harder than it needed to be. "Just come for me," he pleaded. "Keep the peace." I wanted to scream. Why wasn't he fighting for me the way I was fighting for my dignity? Now I'm wondering if I'm wrong to dig in my heels. Am I the asshole for refusing to go, knowing it might stir up trouble for Tom? Saying no to Tom's family gala felt right, but it left things tense between us. 2 days later, I couldn't avoid the fallout. Tom and I sat down in our apartment, the air heavy. "We need to talk about this," I said, my voice steady but my stomach in knots. He looked tired, like he'd been wrestling with it too. "I get why you're upset," he started, "but my family's not easy to deal with. If you keep skipping their events, it's gonna cause drama, and I'm the one who'll pay for it." I bristled. "So I should just smile while they call me a gold digger?" He sighed. admitting his mom's words were wrong, but insisting she was just looking out for him. We went back and forth, voices rising, until he said something that stopped me cold. "If we're gonna last, you need to meet me halfway." It was the first time I wondered if our love could survive his family. Later that night, I called my best friend, Sarah. She'd always been my rock, and I needed her take. "You're not wrong," she said, her voice firm. "They're judging you for nothing. You've always paid your way." But then she paused. "Tom's in a tough spot, though. His family's got him on a leash with that trust fund. Maybe there's a way to stand your ground without blowing things up." Her words stuck with me, making me question if I was being too hard. But the idea of facing Diane's fake smiles again made me feel sick. Sarah's support felt good, but it didn't solve the ache in my chest. The next day, things got worse. Diane called me out of the blue. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. "I heard you're upset," she said. Her tone clipped. "I was only protecting Tom. People take advantage of our family, and I have to be careful." I clenched my jaw, heart pounding. "I've never asked for anything," I shot back. "I love Tom, not your money." She didn't apologize, just said, "I hope you understand my position." I hung up, fuming, protecting Tom, more like controlling him. That call made it clear. Diane wasn't going to change, and I wasn't going to beg for her respect. Needing perspective, I drove to my parents' house that evening. Over coffee, I spilled everything. Mom hugged me, her eyes soft. "We faced that kind of snobbery when we were young," she said. "People with money think they're better, but you're worth 10 of them." Dad nodded. "Don't let them make you feel small. Kid, you've got your pride." Their stories of dealing with class prejudice, coworkers who sneered, neighbors who judged hit home. They reminded me who I was, a woman who'd earned her place, not someone who'd bow to unfair assumptions. By the time I got home, I felt stronger. I wasn't going to Tom's family events, no matter how much he pleaded. I deserved better than being sized up like a thief. But I couldn't shake the fear that this might break us. Tom's caught between me and his family, and I love him too much to want him hurt. Still, I can't keep swallowing my pride. I'm sticking to my boundary, but I'm torn. Am I pushing too hard? Or is this the only way to keep my self-respect? Sticking to my boundary felt empowering, but it didn't make things easier. 3 weeks later, I was still wrestling with the fallout. I'd started seeing a therapist, something I'd never done before. In our first session, I poured out everything: Diane's words, Tom's hesitation, the way I felt like an outsider. "You're carrying their judgment like it's your burden," she said. "It's not. You can set boundaries without guilt." Her words clicked. I realized I'd been letting their assumptions chip away at me. Therapy gave me tools to stand firmer, like practicing what to say when Tom pushed me to keep the peace. It wasn't a fix, but it was a start. Tom and I were trying to find balance. He begged me to try one family event, something small, to show we were still a team. I agreed to a barbecue at his parents' estate, figuring it was low pressure. I regretted it fast. Claire, his sister, made a snide comment about my busy schedule keeping me away from family. Diane asked if I was adjusting to their lifestyle. Her smile tight. It was the same old judgment, dressed up as small talk. I left early, telling Tom I felt sick. In the car, I fumed. I tried. I told him, but they're still treating me like I'm after something. He nodded, quiet, but didn't argue. For once, it felt like he heard me. Then things got messy. Claire started spreading rumors, telling Diane I was controlling Tom, keeping him from family. It blew up into a family meeting: Tom, his parents, his sisters. No me. Tom told me later it was brutal. Claire painted me as the problem, saying I was dividing the family. Tom pushed back, saying I was hurt by their assumptions. But he didn't go all in. "I can't burn bridges," he said, eyes tired. "They're my family." I got it. But it stung. He was defending me, sort of, but still protecting his trust fund. Our talks were getting shorter, our apartment quieter. I loved him, but the strain was real. Through it all, I was feeling off, headaches that wouldn't quit, dizzy spells. One night, I woke up with a migraine so bad I couldn't see straight. Tom rushed me to urgent care. The doctor said stress was likely the cause. Maybe from all the family drama. "You need to prioritize yourself," she warned. It was a wake-up call. I'd been so caught up in proving I wasn't a gold digger, I was neglecting my health. Back home, I looked at Tom. sleeping on the couch after staying up with me. I wanted us to work, but I was starting to see I couldn't keep fighting his family and my own body. Therapy was helping, and I was getting better at speaking up. But the migraines showed me something clear. If I didn't put myself first, no one else would. Those migraines were a wake-up call, forcing me to put myself first. 2 years later, I'm in a different place, literally and figuratively. Tom and I moved to a new city, a fresh start away from his family's shadow. It wasn't easy, but it's been worth it. Looking back, I see how far I've come, not just in my relationship, but in who I am. Standing up to his family's judgment changed me. It taught me my worth isn't tied to their approval, and that lesson's carried me through. Things with Tom's family shifted, slowly. A year ago, his dad had a health scare, heart trouble. It shook everyone, Tom included. He finally stood up to his parents, telling them he was done letting their money control him. "I'm with her because I love her," he said. Words I'd waited years to hear. Diane broke down, admitting she'd misjudged me. "I was wrong," she said, voice shaky. "I saw you as a threat, not a person." Her apology wasn't perfect, but it was real. We're cautious now, not close, but civil. I go to small family gatherings, like birthdays, and Diane's careful with her words. Claire still smirks sometimes, but I let it slide. I don't need their love, just their respect. I've built something of my own. 2. Last year, I started a small business, a coffee shop. My dream since college. It's not fancy, but it's mine. Every cup served, every customer who smiles, feels like proof. I'm more than the gold digger they thought. The shop's doing well, enough to hire a few staff. My parents helped with the launch, driving up to paint walls and test recipes. Mom cried when we opened, saying she was proud. That meant more than any of Diane's apologies. My friends, especially Sarah, have been there too, cheering me on. They're my real family, the ones who saw my worth from the start. Tom and I are stronger now. Moving away helped us focus on us, not his family. He's working in tech, building his own path, and I'm proud of him. We still argue sometimes. He's not perfect. Neither am I, but we're a team. My parents visit often, and their stories of overcoming class snobbery keep me grounded. I think about that girl who overheard Diane's words, so hurt she couldn't breathe. I'm not her anymore. I've learned resilience, the kind that comes from knowing your value. Standing up for myself was hard, but it saved me. I'd do it again, every time, because I'm worth it.